Welcome to the debate. Today, we're unpacking a really provocative framework from the Bashira material, the three rings of a whole fast. It's a huge shift, really. It moves the idea of fasting from just, eating or not eating into this three-part structure of body, senses, and heart. And so the question for us is this. Does applying this visual language of the quantified self closing rings like a fitness app, does that actually provide necessary spiritual structure? Or does trying to quantify the unseen just trivialize the whole thing? I'll be arguing that this framework finally gives the fast the kind of structure it's been missing.
And I'm going to take the opposing view here. Look, the goal of a deeper fast is obviously a noble one, but the mechanism, mapping the human heart onto a dashboard of streaks and rings, I think it risks reducing really profound spiritual work to gamification. We're using the same tools we use for counting our steps to try and optimize the soul.
Okay, so let's start with the problem the source material itself identifies. We live in this era of hyper-awareness about our metrics, right? Calories, credit scores, screen time. We visualize everything to manage it. But the text points out this massive blind spot. The most important practice of the year is just left to these vague feelings. For most people, the only real metric is the clock. So the Bashir proposal is to introduce these three rings to visualize the day. You have the body on the outside, then the senses, and at the very center, the heart. The whole point is that unless you can see the gap between your hunger and your spiritual presence, you can't actually close it.
Great. I understand the diagnosis, but I have to reject the prescription. The text says, the fast is unseen, as if that's a bug, not a feature. But I would argue that in spiritual practice, the unseen nature is the point. It's a secret for a reason. It's precisely because there isn't a graph or a chart. A body ring, okay, that's objective. You either ate or you didn't. But a heart ring, that requires this qualitative self-assessment that just doesn't fit into a binary closed or open state. You can't data mine sincerity.
That's a fair critique of the tool itself, but look at the outcome it's trying to achieve. The text is really explicit about the danger of the status quo, that without this kind of structure, people just default to the bare minimum. We guard the stomach, but the tongue, the heart, they're left completely unguarded. By putting the senses and heart rings right there next to the body, the person is forced to confront that discrepancy. It's a check against complacency. I mean, it makes you ask, did I guard my tongue today or just my stomach? It's not about data. It's about revealing the living thing that the fast is supposed to be.
But let's follow that logic. Let's look at the psychological side of that visualization. The text compares it to a fitness app, saying, you would never accept this from a fitness app. But fitness is cumulative. If I miss a workout, I can just do more tomorrow. Spiritual states, they aren't linear like that. If I lose my temper and break my heart ring at 10 in the morning, does that streak mentality just create a sense of failure for the rest of the day? The real danger of gamification is that it introduces performance anxiety into a space that should be about mercy and, sincere struggle.
The source actually anticipates that. It really emphasizes that these rings aren't closed by sensors or some algorithm, but by your own honesty. And that is a crucial distinction. The app isn't judging you. It's a mirror. So interacting with the heart ring forces a moment of introspection, a little micro audit of yourself that just otherwise wouldn't happen. You know if you were present or if you were heedless. The ring is just the way you acknowledge that reality. It transforms the fast from just a passive state of not eating into an active pursuit of wholeness.
I struggle with that word wholeness when it's represented by a digital circle. Closing a ring implies completion, a binary success. But the human heart is always fluctuating. It's almost never fully closed or fully open. Reducing that infinite nuance to a graphic, it suggests a finality that just doesn't feel true to human nature.
I think you're mixing up whole with perfect. The text is very clear on this. Not perfect, whole. The goal isn't to say you were a saint for a day. It's to make sure that all of your faculties were actually engaged in the effort. It argues that the fast deserves a vessel beautiful enough to hold its complexity. I mean, we treat our finances and our fitness with so much rigor and detail, why should our spiritual discipline get less?
Okay, I can concede that viewing the fast as a complex, layered thing is beautiful. And yes, moving away from a simple countdown mentality is absolutely essential. But I am still deeply skeptical that a digital interface is the right vessel for that beauty. I think there's a very real risk that in our rush to track the unseen, we lose the mystery that makes it sacred in the first place.
So ultimately, the Three Rings framework offers a way to bring the spiritual into focus, to make sure we aren't just starving the body while we're neglecting the soul.
And I would maintain that the mystery of the heart might be better served by silence and honest reflection, not by completion rings on a screen.
And it's up to the listener, I suppose, to decide if they want to see their fast in rings to ensure it is whole, or if they'd rather feel it in the abstract. Thanks for joining the debate.